Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Score Signs. My name is Luke and this is the match preview for QPR versus Everton in the Carabao Cup. Now, let's look back at the Aston Villa game here. We lost 3-0, wasn't a great result in the slightest. We only had 2/3 of our squad. We were missing some key players there in the forms of Coleman, Pickford, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. We missed those guys in that game, honestly. And it's a shame, but we'll need to raise our heads, get on to the next game, and let's not let that one result define our season. So, going up against QPR, they're a championship team to say the least, but they are definitely not a team that you take lightly. They are a really good team. I mean, to be in the championship, you still have to be a good team. But they have run into a little bit of rotten form. I don't believe they've won their last 3 games, so they will probably be wanting to go into this game wanting to take something out of Everton in order to prove to the championship that they're still of good quality. So going into this game, I would say we need to, throw some youth out there, get a couple of younger lads in, and hopefully let the energy from them guys try and drive the game, or help to drive the game. Toffee TV, if you don't know who they are, I'm going to put a link just up here in the card. Have a check of them. They do a really good example of a lineup, and to be honest, I would have done the exact same lineup. So they have Begovic in goal, Godfrey, Holgate and Branthwaite as the back 3. Now, as they said, they would like to do a back 4, but back 3 seems to be the best option at this point, just because we haven't got a solid right back, and Luca Dean's not really in the best of form at the moment, so I think this game might be the one he sits out or sits on the bench. So, as wing backs, you would have John Joe Kenny and Andros Townsend. John Joe being on the right, Andros being on the left. John Joe Kenny as a right wing back, I don't think he does too bad. He does all right, not amazing, but not terrible. So I'm keen to see what he does in that game. And if this is the formation that they go through, it'll be great. But only time will tell. On the left, Andros Townsend playing as a wing back. That could be a little bit alien for him, but in all fairness, I've got a feeling that he should do all right in that sort of position, especially against someone like QPR. Just because he has got the pace, to say the very least. He has got the pace to sort of run this pitch up and down. But I digress. In the central midfield, I would have, these guys have Tom Davies and Andre Gomez. So Tom Davies would be playing the number 6 role, so he'll be sitting in front of the defensive line in between Kenny and Townsend. And Andre Gomez will be playing as the sort of box-to-box midfielder. Now, Andre Gomez he's getting back to his sort of older ways. I always remember when he first came to Everton, he was the absolute pinnacle of our squad. He was brilliant for us. He was the guy who was big. To be honest, he reminded me of an Imprime Arteta. He was getting the ball. He was the perfect centre point who linked everything else together, and he was getting box to box. Since the ankle injury, he hasn't really gotten back to the ways that he was, but I think under Benitez, he will slowly get back into his old ways. Fingers crossed on this one. Okay, so playing as the true wingers would be Iwobi and Gordon. Iwobi being on the right and Anthony Gordon being on the left. So Iwobi being on the right, that's pretty decent. I mean, it's not his natural position, granted, but let's be honest. We're still trying to figure out his natural position. He said that where everyone's been playing him so far isn't the position he wants to be in, and I'm still scratching my head on where he actually wants to be. But in the past few games, when he has come on, he has made a bit of a difference, and he has been a good asset to the team this season so far. So I would love to see him have a bit longer of a run out and hopefully get a goal, get something in for us. Likewise with Anthony Gordon. When he first came onto the scene, he was absolutely electric. He was a really promising youngster when I saw him first come on. And as time's sort of gone on, he has petered off a little bit. But under Benitez, I think he's got a definite good chance to try and sort of build up on it. He's still very young. He's only a young lad still, so he's got time to grow. And hopefully we'll be able to craft him into a really, really solid winger for us. And up front, we've got Rondon. Now, Rondon, he had a few opportunities in the Aston Villa game in the first half. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to convert them, which was a shame. But I think he's definitely got something there. He has got something there, and it isn't just James McCarthy's leg. But in all fairness, I think given due time, I think Rondon will come right for us, and he will be a good sort of stand-in for if ever Calvert-Lewin gets injured again, which seems to be a rare thing, but when he's out, we definitely feel it. So yeah, that's the starting lineup. How are we going to play them? And what is going to be the situation? I think with this sort of setup, we're playing this with a counter-attacking measure in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to let QPR have the run of the game, let them have the possession, but we do what we've done last time and the time before and the time before, where we dictate where they use that possession. So we try and keep them into their half, we try and push them into the side channels, we try and keep them in the areas where they're not comfortable and utilise from there. So what will happen is they'll have the ball, they'll be pushed to the sides or they'll be pushed back, and once they lose possession, we dominate from there, because we have got the pace in the forms of Townsend, Gordon, Iwobi and Godfrey to an extent. He's definitely got the pace there, but as a centre-back, he's very limited in terms of his movement. But yeah, I think we've got the pace there definitely to try and actually utilise what we want to do. It's just a matter of trying to, perfect it and get it down to a fine art, which will take time. Because, we've got to also bear in mind, this is only the first month of the season, like the first full month of the season. We kicked off mid-August, and we've had an international break in between. So I think come November to Christmas, that's when we'll start seeing this becoming more, intertwined into the squad more fully. Hopefully we'll be able to get our squad back to full strength and keep them at full strength, or as close to full strength as possible. You're never going to get an entire season where everyone is fit and perfect. It's downright impossible. I hate to say it, but I would love to see a team where the time we start to the last game, everyone was able to play, everyone was fit, and everyone was perfectly in sync with one another. But that doesn't happen just because we're all human. But in any case, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button down below. It just shows me that you like what you see and you want to see more of it. Also, if you want to suggest anything to me, whether it be another camera angle, because I'm trying something a little different here. Believe it or not though, the reason I'm doing this is because I did have it over here, but the file had corrupted. The file had bloody corrupted, so I had to make this one a little bit on the fly. So if the quality's not as great, I'm terribly sorry in advance. But if you want to suggest anything like another sort of format of video, so I've got the blue jibber jabber, which is when we're on international break, and there's like a little interim in between the weeks, like between say the Bramley-Moore video coming out and the next match. I'll throw that in there just to sort of keep things flowing, where we'll be able to talk about stuff and everything. That's what my main focus is with that sort of stuff. And what I might end up doing in the future is blue jibber jabber will be where I bring people in to help me talk about Everton, because let's be honest, me and camera, just this is actually really difficult to do, because I like to try and bounce off people and actually have like a full-blown conversation. The only problem with that though would be these videos would end up being they'd be very long. Also, if you are new to the channel, just click that little red subscribe button down below. It just means that you'll be able to get notifications when we go live. Oh, no, it won't, because the YouTube algorithm hasn't liked me enough yet. So what happens is once monetization sort of kicks in, the YouTube algorithm will then kick into gear and people will start getting recommended towards these channels. So what will happen, I should say, what I'd like to do is whenever you're new to the channel and you like what you see, you want to see more of it, you hit the subscribe button and you hit the bell. You can set customized notifications, so you can be notified only when I get a video or only when I do something with the community. So whenever I do a poll or put an image up, that's when those things will go live and you'll get the notification for it. Or when a video comes live, you'll get the notification for it. Usually it's around 5 to 10 minutes after the video is uploaded that it gets to everyone, but it does get to everyone from what I've found. Also, I'm going to say a huge thank you to, now where am I facing towards this? Either side here. I'm going to say a huge thank you to CT Baz and Mal for being patrons, whether on this side or this side. I'm sorry. It's going to be this side more than likely when I go live. Actually, no, it's not. It's going to be this side. It's going to be here. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, Say a huge thank you to CT Baz and Mal for being ongoing members of the Patreon. If you want to be like CT Baz and Mal and get yourself in the box there and get early access to the Bramley Moore videos. So just as a heads up, on the Patreon, the Bramley Moore video will be going live about 6 p.m. Well, not about, exactly 6 p.m. tonight. So just before the QPR Everton game, there's going to be a Bramley Moore video on the Patreon. So if you want to be like CT Baz and Mal and get to enjoy it a little bit earlier, plus you get to engage with me a little bit more, closely, you go to the Patreon. There are 2 tiers in the Patreon, one of them being the School of Science Superfan, that's the main tier, and there's also the Cup of Coffee tier. Now, if you want to be a part of the Cup of Coffee tier, that's great, just because it means that you are supporting the channel still, but it's not to the extent of the School of Science Superfan. So School of Science Superfan is a £3 per month tier, and the Cup of Coffee tier is like your £1 tier. So you're basically just getting £1 and going, "Yeah, mate, have that on me, get a cup of coffee, like your shit." That's it. Whereas the School of Science Superfan, you get a few perks. So you get early access to certain videos, mainly at the moment being Bramley Moore videos, and Blue Jibber Jabber will probably ends up doing that as well on that side. Also, you get to interact with me a little bit closely. Not only that, as the channel grows in the future, there's going to be live streams and everything like that with the Blue Jibber Jabber. So if ever I have like a special guest, we'll say. So let's say I've got someone from maybe Twitter, YouTube, or someone who's from Everton themselves come into the studio. They'll be going live onto the Patreon, and they'll be the people who'll be able to ask them questions and interact with them. So if you want to be a part of that sort of stuff as the channel grows, I would seriously implore you to go to the Patreon and do that. As much as it sounds, I'll be honest, I really don't like begging this sort of stuff, but in order to help the channel grow and for me to actually make these a little bit more frequently, we do need money behind us. That is one of the evils of the modern day world. You need money to live, unfortunately. But in any case, I'm terribly sorry about all that. That got really morbid there. Thank you very much, and I'm going to see you on the next video. Come on, you Blues. Peace.